And if you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie, and yes, you will take political like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was an That's despicable.
The Trump administration, I think, of course, we all know, thrives on despair. And it thrives on fear and making people fear that but for Trump, they're in real trouble. But he also is known for projecting.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump.
Karoline Leavitt has allegedly hit Sunny Hostin with a $100 million lawsuit, and The View is scrambling. You'd think they'd be used to legal trouble by now, but this one's different. It's personal. It's high stakes. And it's exposing just how reckless woke media can be when pushing their agenda. Hostin, who loves lecturing everyone on morality, might soon be explaining herself.
That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day. And I am so sick and tired of the media pointing the finger at Donald Trump and saying that he is sowing division in this country. He is not. The media is for pushing hoaxes like the one
in court instead. Buckle up, folks. This is about to get messy, asterisk asterisk. The ladies on The View thought they could shred Karoline Leavitt and throw her to the wolves, just like they've done with Trump for years. But surprise, surprise. Leavitt isn't the type to just roll over. Unlike Trump, who somehow has the patience of a saint when it comes to media attacks, Leavitt decided to allegedly hit back where it hurts, with a $100 million lawsuit. Now, the same women who love dishing out the drama are scrambling to duck the consequences.
The Trump administration, I think, of course, we all know, thrives on despair. And it thrives on fear and making people fear that but for Trump, they're in real trouble. But he also is known for projecting.
They probably never imagined they'd face a real fight. But Leavitt, she's not here to play the victim. She's got lawsuits, attitude, and a mission, and she's coming for more than just their ratings. Looks like The View is about to get a taste of its own medicine. Sunny Hostin kicked things off by claiming that the Trump administration thrived on fear and intimidation, forcing employees to grovel and bend over backward just to keep their jobs. And according to Sunny, people like Karoline Leavitt weren't hired for their qualifications, competence, or merit. No. They were supposedly hired because they were weak-willed puppets who could be easily manipulated by a tyrannical, iron-fisted Trump. In other words, Sunny didn't just question Leavitt's credentials. She outright trashed her intelligence, integrity, and professional reputation on national television. Think about what she's really saying here. She's not just accusing Leavitt of being unqualified, she's painting her as a mindless drone, someone who couldn't possibly have earned her position.
I think she's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump.
Through hard work or talent. It's the same tired insult the media loves to hurl at conservatives. If you worked for Trump, you must be a simpleton who got there by accident or submission. Never mind the fact that Leavitt is a sharp, articulate professional who climbed the ranks on her own merit. No, Sunny wants the audience to believe she was nothing more than a docile pawn in Trump's so-called dictatorship. And then there's Joy Behar, who just had to open her mouth and let the nonsense fly. According to her, Leavitt only got the job of press secretary because she was physically pleasing to Trump. Ah yes, the classic View strategy. When in doubt, just throw out a sexist smear and hope no one notices. Aside from being laughably absurd, Behar's remark is legally actionable. She didn't just insult Leavitt's qualifications. She outright called her a brainless Barbie who coasted into her career on looks alone. That's not just an opinion. That's defamation with a side of slander. And let's not forget, she dragged Trump into it too. Because of course, in Behar's world,
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason. Because black people couldn't get into colleges. Because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian women. This is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man.
Every hiring decision in conservative politics must boil down to whatever fantasy she's concocted about Trump's personal preferences. It's lazy. It's desperate. And now, it might just be very expensive for her and ABC. Behar and the gang have spent years throwing baseless accusations at conservatives, never expecting anyone to call their bluff. But wait. It gets dumber. Never one to let stupidity slip by without chiming in. Whoopi Goldberg decided to add her 2 cents. And somehow, it was even worse. Whoopi claimed Leavitt only got her job thanks to wokeness. Yes, you heard that right. A Trump administration official supposed
His opponents are saying to this very day the same rhetoric that led to those 2 attempts. The second attempted on President Trump's life echoed the sentiment that President Trump is a democracy. And if you're a deranged lunatic and you're mentally ill, you will believe that lie, and yes, you will take political like we have seen in 2 instances against President Trump. Last week, Tim Walz and Kamala Harris said that everyone who showed up to President Trump's rally at Madison Square Garden was a That's despicable, dangerous, divisive rhetoric that is spewed by the Democrat Party every single day. And I'm so sick and tired of the media pointing the finger at Donald Trump and saying that he is sowing division in this country. He is not. The media is for pushing hoaxes like the one that you all pushed today, and the Democrat Party is for pushing lies about him. But the good news is Americans don't buy it. And that's why today President Trump is more popular than he has been since 2016.
Supposedly got her position because of wokeness. If this isn't the height of absurdity, I don't know what is. So let's get this straight. One co-host says Leavitt got the job for being attractive to Trump, while another says she got it through wokeness. These people can't even keep their own delusions straight. It's almost like they don't care about the truth, as long as it lets them take cheap shots at conservatives. Well, this time, those cheap shots are coming with a $100 million price tag. And something tells me that's going to sting. Initially, Leavitt didn't take the unprovoked attacks lightly. She unleashed some fiery salvos of her own. She didn't just clap back, she annihilated them. Karoline ripped The View to shreds for trying to dismiss her intelligence, hard work, and qualifications by reducing her entire career to nothing more than a pretty face. Because of course, in The View's universe, a conservative woman couldn't possibly succeed on her own merit. She must have flirted, groaned, or curtsied her way into the job. It's a tired, lazy smear. But this time, they picked the wrong target. Leavitt isn't just clapping back, she's dragging them into court, where baseless gossip and smug panel discussions won't save them. Honestly, The View's co-hosts are way more familiar with frivolous outrage than actual lawsuits. So this should be an educational experience for them. Maybe they'll finally learn that slandering someone on national TV isn't the same as ranting on Twitter. But here's the best part. The View, the self-proclaimed feminist stronghold, just pulled the most anti-woman move possible. Telling a successful young female professional that her accomplishments don't count because she's attractive? How progressive. Maybe next week, they'll explain how glass ceilings only exist for liberals. When news broke that Leavitt was suing Hostin and her co-hosts, many fans cheered in approval, slamming The View for their reckless and unfiltered remarks. One of them wrote, "The View hosts always proclaim they are advocates for women's rights, and then turn around and trash conservative women. I am tired of their fake audience support, which is why they never show an actual audience." Others also supported Karoline in her quest to sue Hostin and The View. They wrote, "Don't back down, girl. You go."
A very simple question.
And I answered it. You're shaming me for my political choices.
I'm asking you a question about why you endorse someone who's been found liable for rape.
It was not a criminal court. This was
a civil.
I agree, wrote one fan. Karoline Leavitt and Joy Behar have something in common. Both are a 10, Karoline in looks, and Joy in IQ. That was savage. Another fan added. They went too far a long time ago. ABC should be ashamed. I never want to hear from or see these women again. Some commenters even begged ABC, the producers of The View, to cut the program loose before it drains their pockets due to the numerous lawsuits being brought against it. They wrote, "Please, sponsors, leave ABC, or we will boycott your products."
I didn't love the optics of you going to Mar-a-Lago. He was going to, which is his palace. He was going to be in Washington a week later. But what was your goal, and do you feel ultimately you were successful?
Well, here's what happened. I was being lazy on the couch like Friday night, and my team reached out saying, "Hey," and I don't know if this is like a trolling or a hoax, but they extended an invitation. You know, what do you think? I'm like, well, I mean, if they're playing it straight, then I think it's pretty reasonable to have a conversation. You know, inviting me to engage. And
speaking of lawsuits, ABC recently had to cough up a cool $15 million to Donald Trump for, yep, you guessed it, spreading lies about him on national TV. This little financial spanking came after George Stephanopoulos, in a moment of either blind arrogance or complete journalistic incompetence, claimed during an interview last March that Trump had been found guilty of not once, but twice. Turns out, making wildly false accusations about a former president isn't just bad reporting. It's also really expensive. Maybe ABC should set aside a defamation slush fund at this point. Because if they keep this up, they'll be paying Trump's legal fees for years. The View thought they could slander with impunity. Turns out, they might have just talked themselves into a financial disaster. And with that, we draw the curtains on today's video. If you enjoyed